inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the Blocheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. The end of the election. Happy days. We're going to have a quick reflection. We're going to do story times. We're going to do lookalikes. We're going to do Statmans. All that and much, much more here on the block.
Standing tall on the wings of my gonna stop me now.
It's Greeno here from The Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. You've got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man It was unintentionally just made sure my daughter has nailed an A+ for her wild animal speech on Monday. My co-captain Damo, how are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you, boys, girls, listenership, blockheads out there in their millions right around the world, Greeno. It's a fantastic week in Australia. A lot of things have been happening down here, of course, Greeno, as you know. A lot of people have been partying. It sounds like something's going on over there, though.
Party?
Oh, okay. No, a lot of noise happening on back there. It just sounded like you were dropped into Vietnam for a second there. I thought I heard
really? No, that's that must be. There's nothing happening around here. So okay. That might be me touching on the computer, perhaps. But not much happening there.
Okay, yeah, no. So a big week, Greeno. So how have you gone this week? How have you adjusted to life again, Greeno? How's things going?
Yeah, life is fine. New government, new leadership, and look, the good thing is no trips to Hawaii yet. But there was a quick trip overseas for the Quad Summit.
Let him get a month in. Yeah, he did. He actually he had to get rushed to get sworn in so he could quickly get a flight to a junket in Japan to talk about the fucking climate or something, Greeno. And
correct.
He's got the job for like 24 hours at that point. He's already on a plane. It's like, all right, got to go represent the country. It's like, well, hang on, shouldn't you meet the people that work in the kitchen?
No, mate. No, forget that. You got to cut out a bit of man. You got to go.
But what happened to? Oh, I'm just a boy raised by a single mum in a council house, and first chance he gets, he's on the jet.
Man. Fucking, let's not be stupid here. Yeah. Let's fucking be serious. Could I do a quick story time? That just reminded me of a story time before I forget.
Yeah, you can do it.
I like stories about pinatas.
I don't know whether I talked about it on the show last week. I probably didn't because it's unprofessional to talk about my workplace in this way. Maybe I talked about it off air. But anyway, I'll talk about it now because I don't mind being unprofessional. So we've had obviously very strong restrictions when it comes to going in the office for the better part of the last 2 and a bit years. Yep. But recently, though, obviously, elections coming up, got to relax the rules, which means the office are like, hey, once again, let's think about this. We're pissing away a lot of money on real estate space here.
Let's herd you all into a big room and breathe the same recycled air through the air conditioning system all day. Let's do that immediately.
100%, right? So, but what it has also impacted is upper management interstate free perk travel.
Nice.
So what would historically happen is, the upper management, well above my level, would be like fortnightly because it's very important apparently to be over in another state to make sure you can spend 8 minutes with your people when you're not out on a smoke break. Yeah. So,
Greeno, you would know that you can get so much more done in a moderately priced hotel room than you can, in your own office or at your own
home. Correct, spot on. Yeah, exactly. And like rocking up late because of flight delays, et cetera, et cetera. I told a story years ago where I literally got up at 3 a.m. and arrived in the state I was meant to arrive at 8 a.m. at 4 p.m. after my shift was over.
Yeah. Missed the
very
whole
productive day. Yeah. I missed the whole day because I was stuck. I got shipped from Sydney to Adelaide to get to Melbourne. It was a big day. But anyway, so now as soon as the restrictions are a bit loosened, it was like, well, we got to get down there, right? Yeah. Now the thing is, no one is in the office, but that's not going to persuade the travel from upper management to still get their free meals, their free hotels, their travel allowance to still come up to Sydney.
Right. So come and visit people in the office who aren't there.
Got to visit people in the office even though no one's in the office. Yeah. So what happened is they pre-planned this. They said, look, we're coming up from Melbourne. Yeah. We're going to do a morning tea, right? We're going to do a morning tea. We'd love for people to come into the office. We'd love you to come in and come up. It's been ages since we've seen everyone. Yeah. It'd be good for like socializing and like building rapport. It's important. Now, first and foremost,
is it though?
It really isn't. So first and foremost, they lugged a whole bunch of people in. People felt the responsibility, like if the manager's going to be there, we better rock up.
Yeah.
Now, what happened is the next day there was a meeting with the managers that I was a part of, not in person, but virtually. And they said, look, it was really great that everyone came in. Not a lot of work got done because we hadn't seen each other in a while. So let's point this out.
But then what happens then, though, Greeno, if they say, well, that's bound to happen the first couple of times, but once you get used to it, just keep coming in every week and then you'll get used to it and then you'll get more work done. What would you say to
You
that?
won't. So, we won't. So they've acknowledged hang on, we just spent a whole shit ton of money to fly these managers up, stay in nice hotels, get free meals. We spend money on a morning tea.
Yeah.
For people
Can we take a pause, Greeno?
I like
just for a minute,
stories
Greeno,
about
sorry.
pinatas.
I do have to interrupt. Can we take a pause for a moment? Let's discuss the morning tea. Now, when you get the interstate visitors, the kind of spread you put on speaks volumes about, your office and what you think of them as well. What level of expert coming in were they? Did they get, say, crackers and fucking cheese? Or did they get like full catered pastries?
We're talking Danishes. We're talking
nice, Gary.
The prosciuttos now. We're talking the pates. We're not talking French onion dip and jats. Let's say that. I wasn't there because I'm not fucking rocking up. I'm not an idiot. I'm like, no, I'll stay at home and work. I'll get some work done today and earn my paycheck. You guys enjoy your morning tea and your fucking chit chat.
You enjoy your frolicking around in the office.
Yeah, exactly. Good times. So the next day, rock up. They say, look, not a lot of work got done, but it was good to see everyone. So basically, what's happened
is
a
social event now.
We spent a whole bunch of money to fly people up. They've eaten their big fat meals. They then encouraged people to come into the office to do no work, which meant they then spent money on people to get paid to do no work for the day.
Yeah. Don't forget the pastry bill, Greeno. Someone had to pay for the fucking bakery treats as well.
No, true. And the bakery, let's not forget the bakery treats. We've got those as well.
That's right. Probably a couple of $100 in jam donuts right there, my friend.
Hold on. So we're like, look, hey, let's call this a successful event, right? Because fucking the manager's happy. We're going to call it, we're going to tick the box, we're going to fucking successful event. Yes, excellent. We got a bunch of people in the office to cover the rent we paid. That's wasted money because we don't really need to be in the office because we can do our jobs from home. And fucking we got to do our free perks and accommodation and meals. Excellent. We spent 3 days on the company's dime in swanky hotels. Everyone's a winner. Now, what happened is so this was last Wednesday. Now, Monday, we have a full company meeting, right? Where all the claims team's there and we all have to rock up and they give an update going, here's what's happening in the claims team, blah, 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 blah. What happened is the manager then had to rock up on Monday and go, look, turns out rocking up to the office end up being a super spreader event because fucking about a whole bunch of people ended up getting the Rona from the office, which means not only did they lose that day, they've now lost fucking 20 staff members for another week because they can't work. So now they're paying another 20 people 7 days worth of leave and getting no work done because, hey, mate, got to socialise, got to make sure it's done. So then they're like, can we ask people moving forward, can you make sure you do a rat before you come into the office?
So we're back to that. We're back there again now. That's what we were doing 12 months ago.
That's what we were doing, but you didn't ask someone to do a rat before you're like, hey, we want to come out to Melbourne and have a free travel. And then, magically. So this catch-up, this very important work event, has probably cost the company the better part. So I think there's 20 people, 7 days, 27. It's a lot, mate. We're talking 280 plus the everyone days lost. We're looking 300 work days of productivity lost.
Nice, Gary!
So everyone can catch up, have a cup of coffee and a fucking Danish.
As you said to me on the weekend, to have a bit of water cooler talk about the footy.
Talk about the footy.
Let's talk about the footy.
High price to pay. Yeah.
Travel our ass into the city to talk about the footy because it's very important. And they've lost 300 days
for the privilege.
Productivity because fucking people call it the Rona. Whilst they work on a very fun fucking event. Good
but,
times.
like I said, Greeno, on the upside, at least someone at some point during that morning tea was able to turn to somebody else and say, that referee's a fucking idiot, mate.
Fucking idiot. You reckon they go all right this weekend? I reckon they go all right. And they're like, happy days. I feel better for that because I said happy days.
That one sentence was worth 17 work days. Now, do you want to say it again to someone else?
300 lost work days for one fucking catch-up. Unbelievable.
I like stories about pinatas.
Well done.
Now, Damo, last week you decided to ransack the show. We're talking a bit of soccer, a bit of roundball, a bit of football early on. And then when I pointed that out, and you're like, well, you talk baseball every week. I'm like, yeah, but I put the arse in, I'm trying to squeeze it in when no one's listening.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
fine.
if you front loaded it, we'd lose half of our
We'd
four
lose
in the
half of our
audience.
four.
Greeno.
Exactly. So I was very excited when I saw this pop up on the YouTube afterwards. Greeno, pleased to know I'm going to see Seattle Mariners, sadly my team, play the Angels in June 17th. I love it when he talks about baseball. So this is for Dr. Climate Abortion up here.
And got to be the best name, Dr. Climate Abortion.
Exactly. Now, this was literally posted minutes after the show went up on YouTube. So this is a dedicated listener here. So my theory.
Well, you know what though? If we had like a ton of comments, and this one was the first one, I'd say, oh, this is a dedicated listener. But when you have no views and no comments, and it's just one person, that goes
That's a
from
100% ratio. So this is 100% of our
no. If it's one person, it goes from dedicated viewer to stalker activity because clearly not only are you the only one who has any kind of passing interest in this ridiculous stupid show that we do, but you're so dedicated that after immediately when you can post the comment, he's like, I love when you talk about baseball so much.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dr. Climate Abortion.
Dr. Climate Abortion is our man. That's fucking we're all in. Dr. Climate
Nice,
Abortion.
Gary!
We're alienating one of our 6 listeners, dude.
I know.
We
No, it's all right. I know who he is. He's one of the 5 who listen to my show too.
Exactly. Good man. He's a very good man.
Good on you, mate.
Let's not ruin it, shall we?
No.
So, plenty more baseball going to be put in the rundown moving forward up front.
Okay.
Open the show.
Front loading the baseball talk from now on.
35 minutes.
Because Dr. Climate Abortion wants it. So we're going to start doing it.
The fans have spoken. Hear me out. If
The
Stefan
fan has
put up a poll-
spoken. And there's no plural. It's just one. It's just one guy, Greeno.
Well, okay, Stefan, if you're listening on replay, can you put up a poll for this week?
Yeah.
Should Greeno front load all the baseball talk for this particular show?
Yeah.
Yes, no, skipping that. That's the 3 options.
That'd be awful. Yeah.
That'd be good. Damo, we talked about the election, and look, thank fuck it's over. We've moved on from the election. It's done. It's done. We've got a new leader. Excellent. Let's move on. Now, which brings us, it's a sad day, though, for me personally, because one thing I've particularly enjoyed
why is that?
in the election cycle is our Woof Woof bars.
Oh, nice.
And the overabundance of the Woof Woof bars or the puppies and the babies, whatever we refer to it.
Yep.
But thankfully, you were straight onto it. Post-election, you're like, Greeno, found it. We are still covered when it comes to the Woof Woof bars. You managed to find a post-vote Woof Woof bars, I believe.
I did, but you didn't put the link in the rundown. So I didn't know there was one.
Well, yeah, no, I didn't do that.
Well, let me look
How
for
do I
it.
miss all these links?
Dun, 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 dun,
Nice, Gary!
Yeah, I don't know where it is, man. Like, where did I post it?
You posted it in our feed on Monday.
On Monday. Okay. Oh, there it is. Beautiful stuff. Like,
And while you're there, you might want to do the next one as well, because I forgot to post that link. My apologies.
okay.
Nice, Gary!
Hey, we don't
next-
pre-show.
Do the next one as well. Okay.
Where is it? Yeah, next one. The one about. Yeah, bear with us, listeners.
Yeah, well,
this is
listener.
if we were talking.
I wonder what
Dr.
Dr. Climate Abortion's going to have to say about this abortion, Greeno.
That's it.
Yeah.
The losing elections like the ANZACS. I've sent that one through to you as well. There we go. It's on 23rd Tuesday. I seen that one as well.
Okay, losing elections just like the ANZACS. God, I knew there had to be something to go along with that because I thought that's a pretty provocative thing for me to put in the rundown here, but I'll go with it because I trust him.
Now, here's the beauty of this show, right? Normally what would happen with a podcast is you'd sit there and go, hey, we fucked up there.
Yeah.
Greeno messed up the rundown because he did it during his lunch break yesterday. I had about 6 minutes left before I had to get back to work.
Well, you had to get back to work, Greeno, because you were late for the fucking tea and fucking tea and jam scones.
Everyone decided to go fucking socialise and talk about footy. So there's no staff left.
There's no
I've got to do
staff
all the
left.
work myself.
Yeah.
So I literally, here's like a bit of behind the scenes, bit of opening the kimono.
Mm-hmm.
Greeno put the rundown together yesterday, 6 minutes left on his lunch break.
Right.
And it fucked up a whole bunch of the links. So my bad.
That's all right. That's all good.
My
We recovered seamlessly, Greeno. We really did. You should be
No,
very
no.
proud of yourself.
Well, like I said, most people would edit this out of their show in the podcast,
They
but we
would.
won't.
No, we won't. We're
like
too
to,
lazy
like,
for that. Yeah.
Balls out as well. You know, we like to be open with our 6 listeners.
That's right. We're not doing that stuff.
No, and that involves effort
Yeah.
because you do it very late at night. You pump up the podcast. You're just like, we could cut it and make it better, but nah, fuck that. We'll post it as
We
is.
could. I've had the post-election woof woof wah ready to go for like the last 3.5 minutes, and we've just been crapping on about it.
Oh, really? See, I thought we were doing filler while you were still ready to get that going.
There it is.
Excellent. I'm
There's
glad
your
we
post.
wasted 3 minutes of our 6
Nice,
listeners' time.
Gary.
There's our post-election waffle bars.
So the morning after the election, because I would have thought, Greeno, the morning after the election, you don't need the dog anymore. That's the time you lock the dog up in the back garden, you know?
No,
He's
see,
done,
this
he's
is why
finished.
Albo's next level, mate, because he's thinking outside the square. He's gone, look, I'm going to get a preemptive woof woof wah. Because if I fuck up in week 1,
Which is
we
very,
can go, hey,
which is very
refer
possible.
back to photo on Monday. Refer back.
I would just say, Greeno, a word of warning to Anthony Albanese. We all know what happened when Joe Biden took his dog, because he did the woof woof wah before he was elected too, but then they went really hard on the post-election woof woof wah, and this is the most recent example we have to go off here is Joe Biden's experience. And then you'll remember, Greeno, they were doing a lot of promo for the dogs. The dog had a Twitter account, okay, and it was like, just roughing around in the White House. Ruff, ruff. You know, it was that kind of, I swear to God.
We did that. We did that as a segment, I think.
Yeah.
We did American woof woof wahs.
But then, of course, Greeno, what happened was the dog started attacking people in the White House, and I think it bit 3 different people before they had to take it away. So
It'll happen.
Nice, Gary.
So that is the risk you run with the post-election woof woof wah, Mr. Albanese. It's that if you keep this dog in the frame, eventually it might want to take center stage. It might be an alpha dog, Greeno.
Might be.
Might start snapping at everyone who's trying to get to the master. So we can't allow that. But anyway, there you have it. Your post-election woof woof wah.
Well, good to see you still around, though. I hope we managed to keep it up.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see a bit more political woof woof wahs. Now, the Albo may have been a winner, but there weren't all winners out there on election day. There's got to be a loser. That's how elections work.
That's
You got
right.
a winner, and you've probably got a shit ton of losers because not everyone can make it.
That's right.
There's a lot of names on that ballot and a lot of numbers to fill in. So, unfortunately, one of the guys.
One of the guys.
Over there in Liverpool decided, no, I'm not going to suckle on the teat of the Liberal government anymore. I'm going to go out. I'm going to branch out. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to suckle to the
This
teat
is
of Clive
Craig
Palmer
Kelly.
instead.
This is Craig Kelly, local MP, who I think it was, what was it, about 12 months ago, 18 months ago, or thereabouts,
18 months, yeah.
He was with the kind of, quote unquote conservative, but not really, centre-right party, the Liberal Party, for years and years and years. And I think it was about vaccines or something. He was against mandates and he was against lockdowns or something. Was it something to do with that? And
It was a vaccination thing for him. He was like, no, I don't believe
good
in
for him. He
vaccines.
stood up for what he. But hey, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. He could have very
Correct.
easily just shut his mouth and gone along with the party line. In the end, he stepped out. He said, "I'm not with these fuckers anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. Follow me, everyone." And then, of course, he was promptly eliminated on
Nice,
on voting day. He was unceremoniously outvoted, and he was done, dismissed.
We used to have a segment on this show called Soft Hunt at the Brownlows.
Mm.
Where the running joke was there was 26 rounds, 24 rounds, whatever it may be, and it was always Carmel Hunt, 0 votes.
0 votes. Come on.
That's what happened with Craig Kelly, unfortunately. Plenty of ads,
Yeah.
$10 million worth of election money, 0 votes.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I still
on him,
think, fucking good on him, because at least he didn't, because I think it would have been easier just to fucking shut your mouth, go along with it. He probably would have kept his job, because I think it was someone from the Liberal Party who won the seat anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did.
So,
yeah. That's my former electorate where I used to live.
Oh, right, there you go. So,
And every year, no matter who the candidate is, they just vote Liberal every single year.
yeah, right.
That's how he kept his job for as long as he did, because he wasn't that good. But
Well, are any of them really good, though, local members?
No,
Do you
no one-
even
no one.
notice them? I don't.
no one's really good. Like you kind of make sure they try and take it. No one's really doing anything.
No,
But he
you
lost
wouldn't
his
notice them, but you wouldn't notice them if they did. Their
No,
job,
100%.
their job is to turn up 6 weeks before election day and convince you that they're doing stuff, and then see you in 3 years' time, please, if you vote for
Spot
me.
on. And then everyone looks at it and go, hey, has life been shit the last 3 years? Like, nah, we'll just vote for the same guy again. That's basically what I did for 8 years and kept on voting this guy in. Because I'm like, is life shit around here? Liverpool,
It's all
maybe.
right.
But my particular area, life's all right. I have no reason to change. We'll keep plugging away. But, the good thing for Craig, though, he may have lost, but at least he lost graciously, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, got to send a message out to the peeps.
And what was that message, Greeno?
Although we have failed and our faces are now marred with the dust and the sweat and the blood from the battle. Shit, you not. This is what he wrote. This is a tweet. We did so whilst daring greatly, all in the name of freedom.
Freedom! He's got it in caps. Freedom!
He thinks it's William Wallace out here. Fuck me. We fought not for power or position. Well, weren't you fighting for power and position? Isn't that the point of an election? Yeah. Not for virtual signaling. Well, you did because you were you virtue signaled specifically for the non-vaccine vote. Yeah. Or self-indulgence. Well, you did it because you put yourself up there. And Clive Palmer is your fucking leader. Nor for what is fashionable. Well, fair enough. I'll pay that.
That's true.
We fought not because it was easy. We fought because we are the sons and daughters of the ANZACS. Now,
Nice, Gary.
Now this is where we start to get into murky territory. Now we talked about on the show previously. Australians hold our military history and the war and whatnot, and specifically the ANZAC history, in very high esteem.
Fairly high regard, yes.
Fairly high regard. We have a day, we don't fuck around with that. That's a day we take seriously, and we go get really drunk and play tour.
That's right.
Out of respect to the
ANZAC. In the morning. At 7 in the morning.
6 a.m. Because the RSL's open at 6 a.m. only on that day. So it's Cairns at 6 a.m. We fucked up by midday. Someone might get knifed at the cattle dog, but everyone's happy because the ANZACs.
Midday's generally when the two-up starts too, isn't it?
Correct, and you're only munted by then. So
exactly. So you're just throwing away 50s constantly.
Yeah. 50 on heads.
50 on heads.
Who cares? We've been drinking since 6. That's all good.
I've never asked you, are you heads or tails at the two up?
I've never played two up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. I'm not a big pub frequenter.
Well, I mean, it's only played once a year though, so you wouldn't have to be a frequenter to play it because it only.
No, but what I'm saying is on Anzac Day, most of the time, quick story time and step back in time.
I like stories about pinatas.
In our younger days, when I would frequent pubs and clubs, because we had Anzac Day off, it was a big night on the 24th.
The day before. Yeah.
So what would happen is we'd go out, have a massive night on the 24th. We'd then sleep and miss most of Anzac Day. Miss all the Anzac Day festivities.
That's true, because I remember I'd be like a morning guy on Anzac Day. I'm going to head down there in the morning and be half a dozen of us hitting the fucking terps at 7:30 a.m. and going hard. And then you guys would show up at sort of 2 in the afternoon, and I'd be like, where have you fucking been? We're all done at that point. We're ready to go home. And you're like, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, just woke up an hour ago. It's like, what have you fucking been doing?
Because we were out till 4 in the morning before. So when you were arriving, we were kind of going to bed, we'd sleep all day and then catch up. So I never really got into that, which means I never really had a heads or tails. If I had to pick a heads or tails, I'd probably go tails.
Tails. I'm a heads man myself. So,
yeah. There you go. Between us, one of us is going to win.
Yeah. Well, we solved the riddle of heads or tails, didn't we? We can't lose now. I'm heads, you're tails, we win.
Correct.
Unless it lands on its side and stays there.
Yeah, when it's evens, then we're fucked. No, then we both win, right?
Yeah. No, it's a. You just get your money back, and you better get.
Well, that's a win. I just want to see both the heads and the tails. We're happy. We're let's go get a beer, play some ball. Before we get to our first break, I want to do a quick story time for you, sir.
I like stories about pinatas.
So, good friend BE, have you ever won a bet and you forgot you won a bet?
Probably, but how can I remember to tell you?
That's the point. You forget. So what happened is B and I had a bet on a Raiders Bulldogs game that I referred to as the spoon off, right? Because at the time we were 15th and 16th, and I'm like, mate, both our teams are shit. This is literally a spoon off. We're 15th and 16th ladder. do you want to just whack a case? Should we whack a case on this game? And like whoever wins, fucking happy days. I found out if there was any beer delivered to his area, and we sort of worked out there wasn't, but we found a way to get a case to him.
Okay.
So Raiders ended up winning that game, and I'm like, hey, happy days, I won a case. And then I came and did this show. I was on a Friday night, got drunk and forgot. So a couple of weeks pass, and BE messaged me, and he's like, sorry, mate, sorry about the delay. Case like Dan Murphy's will get in contact with you in the next couple of days. I'm like, what do you mean? What for? And he's like, for the case from the other week. I totally forgot about that. So I'm like, excellent. Like it's like a free case.
Oh yeah, if you forget about it and you get it back, it's like
firstly because I won it because it's already free to begin with.
Yeah.
Like let's put the logic behind there. And secondly, I'd forgotten about it, so it becomes like a double free case.
Yeah, it's double free case. Yeah, it's 2 cases worth. It's like Greeno, if just say you sign a really good player for your football team, but they get injured in preseason, and then you don't see them for 9 months, and then the next season they come in like 3 or 4 games into the season, and you're like, oh shit, it's like having a brand new fucking player. All of a sudden you get a big boost out of that.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So from there, I'm already winning, right? I'm like, fucking happy days. Like, thanks, this man. Totally forgot about that. You could have not bought the case, and I wouldn't have even known, and we would have moved on, and I would have even thought about it. But thank you. Excellent. So then he pointed out, he goes, sorry, man, I made a mistake with the beer. And then I started to get worried because I'm like, look, because the thing, if you're doing a beer bet, you've got to lay down your beer of choice beforehand. Because you don't want some douchebag rocking up and like, if like B thinks he's buying a slab of fucking Chewy's tinnies for $40, and I go, hey man, I want Squires, and it's an extra $15. Suddenly the bet may not be fair. So beforehand, we laid out. And
hey, here's a little tip for the punters out there: if the beer classification isn't sought before the bet, then don't just. Here's the thing though: don't get the fucking VB tinnies or the Chewy's new stubbies, right? And also don't get the fucking $80 a case stuff. Just aim for that kind of happy medium $50 a case, because no one's going to complain. He's not going to complain that you didn't get him the really good stuff, and he's not going to complain because you got him the shit stuff. It's just good enough, that's all you need.
100%. Yeah. So B apologized, like, sorry, mate. Like, I know we laid out terms, but I bought you the wrong case. And I'm like, oh, okay, no worries, man. Like, it's still free beer. Yeah. But what he did is he bought cans instead of bottles.
Okay.
Now that seems like maybe an issue, but then B pointed out the logic. He goes, well, it turns out the cans have 10 mil more than the bottles.
Right, nice, Gary. My man B knows. That's right. You can pack more in a can.
I end up getting another 240 mils of beer for the exact same bet on top of a bet. So this is like a
now you owe him though. Like now you're in the book.
No, it's fine, because the next time the Dogs and the Raiders play, we'll have another bet. And if he wins, like we know, we'll make sure we square it all up. Like,
well, if he wins the next one, you should give him you should take 2 stubbies out of the case and then give him 22 beers.
No, what I'm saying, no, he gave me more beer.
Yeah, exactly. So you owe him. Oh, so that's right. So if you owe him a case, I'm
not taking beers out. I need to send an extra 2 stubbies, maybe.
Yeah, you need to. That's right. Just get now.
So a case and 2 stubbies.
Yeah, and you can get the 2 VB stubbies because the extra, the interest is not worth to like Bogues or Squires or whatever.
No. Well, no. B selected in his bet request. It was a comparable cost price.
I see.
So he didn't go, give me a slab of VB. No, he's better than that. He knows what he's after. So we get a quality way. So anyway, a couple of days go past, and I started to get worried because I'm like, hang on, he said that the case was going to arrive. And then I got a message from Dan Murphy's going, hey, you've received a gift, blah, 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 from Brad.
Jim Edward in the chat, Greeno, sorry to interrupt, has done the maths and said you got almost a full bottle of beer extra. So it's
100%.
So in the transaction to even it up, you're actually going to have to open one and take a sip out of it and then hand it
to make it even
up. Yeah,
even it out. Yeah. So I get a little bit worried because a couple of days have passed since I got a message saying you've got a gift.
Okay.
But then what I noticed is it said delivery going to arrive, but from a suburb that is fucking a long way from my house.
Right.
So the delivery point for gifts and like delivery for Dan Murphy's is a fair while away. And I got worried. I'm like, look, either B's put in my old address because the address that it was getting delivered from is not far off where I used to live.
Right.
or they've looked at it and gone, we're not driving that fucking far. This cunt can just not have his case. Like, that's how it is.
So you're thinking I'm gonna have to take a couple of days off work here to go and meet this guy halfway in order to collect this fucking case. It's gonna cost me $200 in fuel. You know, I'm gonna have to get a hotel room for the night. Go to the fucking warehouse. You know, they take a helicopter out to the fucking loading dock. It's a whole thing.
Like I have to do to go to work, shit like that.
That's
fucking
right.
all covered.
Yeah.
So anyway, lo and behold, Monday, 10:30, knock on the door.
Yeah.
Actually, no, sorry, I'm going to take a step back because there's a fucking funny story in between. So,
I like stories about pinatas.
the B sent me this message like last Tuesday, and the B hadn't arrived yet. I got a message from Dan Murphy's on the Wednesday, and I'm like, I'll be here in a couple of days. I heard a knock on the door last Friday.
Okay.
So Greeno,
you're excited. You're revved up. Here it is. Here's the man.
I have no friends, mate. So no one's knocking on my door. And so I go to sprint the door going, Dan Murphy guy's here. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, for me, it was unfortunate. For my daughter, not so much. It was her friend who wanted to play. So, but then I had this look of disappointment in my face going, oh, man, I thought it was going to be beer. Instead, it's like my daughter making friends.
No beer.
So then the weekend passes, nothing comes. And then Monday, 10:30 a.m., I hear a truck arrive. And I'm like, hang on. I'm at work. And I hear a truck.
What's going on here then?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
I look out, there's a courier van. Because I remember we go back to your story from pre-Christmas.
Yep.
Dan Murphy's doesn't deliver by a regular truck. They're couriers. They're individual contractors who happen to like contract the Dan Murphys for the courier.
They're called Sherpas, Greeno, named after, of course, the Nepalese fucking guides up the mountains, Greeno.
Yeah, spot on.
So yeah, the Sherpas pick up your case of beer and they escort it to your house. That's how it works.
Back to my house. Spot on. This guy's had it for a few days, which concerned me because I'm like, hey man, this is meant to be shipped on Wednesday.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Whoa. We gotta hang on.
I like stories about pinatas.
Now, Greeno, whenever I get this Sherpa service from Dan Murphy's, it's not even a question. I don't even think about it. I always pay the extra. I think it's $15 to get it delivered in 2 hours. That's I treat it like ordering a fucking pizza. It's like, I want a box of beer, I want 2 bottles of Jack Daniels, and bring a case of wine while you're at it. And you know what? Bang. Here's 15. Now, can you get it to me in 2 hours? It always delivers. Now, if they're hanging on to, why are you not paying the $15? Like you bulk buy. And the $15 becomes economical because you think about all the trips you would have done to get those pieces individually. You end up saving that money anyway, right? So you pay the $15, you get it in 2 hours, it's delivered at your door. Why are you waiting 3 days after your order? What are you, fucking living in the dark ages, man? What the fuck?
Nice, Gary!
Did you not listen to the fucking story? It's not my order, mate. Like, firstly, I can't ask BE to pay, hey, man, if I'm going to win the bet, can you make sure to ship to me?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I fork over the extra 15, mate.
You will pay the extra fucking postage and handling to express post that shit to Greeno's door, all right? That's what must be done.
That's a dick move right there. If I ask B, I go, hey, man, I need you to pay the extra 15 to get to travel ASAP.
Yes.
Like, I can survive a couple of days without getting the free beer. Exactly. It's fine. No. It's all good. It's no drama.
Pay the extra 15, kids. Make sure it gets delivered within 2 hours. Because I would have liked to have seen the guy frantically trying to collect a box in North Queensland and get it to Sydney in 2 hours, Greeno. That would have been fucking fun.
Literally, from the destination where it got from, it's almost 2 hours to my house.
Oh, so you could have walked there and picked it up.
It's a long trip. So anyway, this dude finally gets here a couple of days later. This is a fucking long story. We went to go on an ad break like 9 minutes ago. This dude rocks up. This courier is the greatest courier
Jim
I've ever met in my life.
No, Jim Courier is the greatest courier. Greeno.
He may be. Yeah. But this guy's the second best then. Yeah. Because this guy is just made to deliver beer. I guarantee it. Okay. Because you know what he says to me? He hands over the key. He's like, got a delivery for Shano? I'm like, yeah, mate, just here. And he's like, mate, just in time to wash down a bit of lunch. It was 10:30 on a Monday.
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further. than Irrational Times. Using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later. Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We'd never thought that 30 years later it'd still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
Now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVshow.com.
Yes! Welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Mass shooting. Mass shootings. That's our new social media plug, Greeno.
I'll let you we'll just let that one sit for a bit.
No. You got to understand that's our new social media plug, because every time there's a mass shooting now, I get told, like, politicians are saying that, oh, this is because of social media, and we need it. Didn't you see, like, after the last after the last mass shooting in the States, I think it was like the governor of New York, or the AG of New York or something like that. They launched an investigation into social media. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, what about the guy who was doing the shooting, though? What are we going to glean? What are we going to glean by investigating people on Twitter? How's that going to help the situation?
Well, it'll distract and deflect and make people forget about it for a little bit, and it will all kind of move on. And then the same shooting will happen again in another couple of months, and we'll kind of do the exact same. It's rinse repeat, unfortunately, there for the US. The country is cooked when it comes to guns, unfortunately.
What do you mean?
It's the ridiculousness of the same thing happening over and over and over again. What do they say? The definition of insanity is it's fucking mass shootings happening on end with nothing changing over and over. We need more guns, apparently, Damo. More guns will fix it. That'll fix it. The irony of the senators who might be able to do something, how do they react to it? 10-day break. Let's give ourselves a holiday. Took a 10-day break. Siesta. Mate, we got nothing to do.
I don't get offended when politicians take breaks. To be frank, I'd prefer they're not at work, because when they're at work, they're fucking shit up. So when they're at work, they're doing things, and I don't want them to do anything. I'd much rather they just stay home the whole time and not touch fucking anything.
Stay away.
To be honest, just leave people to sort it out themselves.
We got anyone in the chat? No one in the chat.
Yeah, Jim Edward said, "Oof, Greeno." Anyway, so that's. Well, I guess that's how we're going to have to promote ourselves on Twitter now, is by, we'll say mass shootings, and then we'll get attention, though, Greeno, you see, because they'll be investigating us. And then, obviously, we'll get famous that way. It's going to work out. So, nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary!
Speaking of getting famous, speaking of protesters, Greeno, I thought this was pretty good. Now, I don't know who Lewis Brackpool is, and at first I thought his name was, a comical, pronouncement from an Asian person and how to say Brackpool. And I was like, oh no, actually, this is a real account. So he's not Lewis Blackpool, he's Lewis Brackpool. The events manager for Intel's Davos operation dodges my question about internet censorship and then suddenly disappears. So this guy's at the Davos convention, which is, a lot of kind of big corporate swinging dicks get up there, Greeno. They talk about how they're going to run the world, what price are we going to put on vaccines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this guy, he's working for Rebel News. He's going to get amongst it, Greeno. He's going to throw himself in there, see what he can fucking dig up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's a budding journalist on the internet, Greeno. He's got a big future, this guy. So
Intel.
Here we are.
The technology the world builds on, and you can see the World Economic Forum right here.
It's doing well. Yep.
Right here. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay.
I am great.
Meet this guy.
You for Intel?
I work for Intel. I'm the event manager.
Interesting.
Okay, now this, Greeno, is the event manager for Intel, apparently. All right.
Guys, Gary!
Now, what do you think? Now, does he remind you of anyone, Greeno, this event manager?
I've seen your lookalike. He doesn't remind me of that person you think he may. Like, I can sort of see a resemblance. However, I do agree with your thought process of there's a bit of rug involved here.
A bit of rug involved. Now, I'm of the opinion that he looks like an Australian comedian, Sano Chilera. Now, just in case you didn't believe me, let's put him up on the screen again, because I don't think Greeno's really had a good, proper look at him.
I checked it.
Now,
there's a difference in cheek structure.
Yeah. Well,
and
so this is supposedly the events manager for Intel, which would be that would be a perfect cover, by the way, for someone like Sano Chilera. And there's Sano. Now, if you're not convinced, let me just do this for you, Greeno. What do you think now?
Oh, maybe nah. Fucking there we go. Girls get the girls. That's there we go.
There he is.
Same dude.
We found him.
Sano and Intel. There we go. There we go. Could be anyone. That's unbelievable. That's a true deep fake right there.
Yep. That was totally worth it, that segment.
That was just as a shitty wig.
We didn't mention anything about Davos. I didn't even, come back at you about that whole little gun rant you just did there before. I just let it slide. You know why? Because Sano Chilera is running the events for Intel at the World Economic Forum. Congratulations, Sam. I didn't know he was struggling for work,
No, he's got much cash. You didn't like my gun rant? Can I do a gun stat man for you?
Oh, please. Give me a
I'm a scat man.
A gun stat man. Let's do a school death stat man.
Awesome.
So, do you know the biggest cause of death in Australian schools this year, Damo?
Fucking heart disease.
No, blow up inflatable jumping castles. So, in comparison,
you know what fixes those, Greeno? A fucking gun, a rifle.
A gun.
Take care of that.
Thing down. It's not going to fly away and kill like half a dozen kiddies. Yeah. Now, comparatively,
what a way to go, though. I mean, soaring like an eagle.
I sent my kid off to school all this week, and my biggest concern was inflatable jumping castles. Like, let's look at the comparison. American parents, is your biggest concern inflatable? Because if it's not, it should be. That's my point.
Well, the Americans are in a tough spot because, look, just say your kid does survive the school shooting, then they're only going to grow up to wish that they were the opposite.
Inflatable jumping castle.
Well, no, they'll grow up to wish they were the opposite gender anyway. So, like, it doesn't get any better from here, basically. They're going to go to university and start, if they're a girl, they're going to stop shaving their armpits and get really smelly and angry about politics and stuff. And that's going to annoy you, And so, I mean, maybe there's wisdom in it. Who knows?
Can I ask you a question, like serious question? Once again, this is going to get me in trouble at work.
Yeah.
Because I noticed something recently with a couple of work emails. And each to their own, it's fine. But I've noticed people are putting pronouns in their email signatures. Now, what is what is the pronouns about? Because I don't understand it. Because I'm naive. I don't go on social media. This is a learning experience for Greeno. Like I just learned about the election. I learned that like a ballot paper, you got to put 1 to 6.
That's
we fucking talked about it. Greeno
we did a whole segment on it, Greeno. You told us about how to fill it out.
Yeah. How to fill it out. You put 1 to 6. You put the least shit cunt at the front. You put the biggest shit cunt at the end.
This is fucking amazing, revelating stuff.
Unbelievable. I taught the kids, like the people, our 6 listeners, including the dudes who like baseball in America. So my question is, I don't know, like, what is the backstory behind the pronouns, whether it be in an email signature or whether it be in a Twitter profile or a social media profile? What is the backstory behind that? Because I don't understand. Because the people I saw it at work were like, he, like, she, her, me, whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, well, okay, excellent. I don't understand. I'm confused. Can you help me out here, sir?
No.
You can't help me out. It's fine.
No.
In the chat. Can someone in the chat help me out here? Because I don't understand what it is.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if I can help you without committing some kind of hate crime by doing it. I don't know.
I just need to understand what it means. I don't need your opinion on it. I just need to understand.
I know. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know what it means. I think it means whatever they say it means, and we're not allowed to say it means anything else. Otherwise, we get banned off Twitter.
I don't understand it. Like, what is someone going like he, she, me? Like, I don't. I was just confused by it.
It's
I'm like,
kind of the battleground, isn't
it?
Yeah, it's. Yeah, well, I
I'm
think
not trying to be a shit cunt.
I know you're not. I know you're not. That's what makes
it.
this so delicious. It's like you're not trying to be a shit cunt, but just the mere fact that you don't understand that. The mere fact that you're questioning it now makes you a shit cunt. That's the rules, That's the way it works. Like, you're not allowed to. Like, if someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, hi, I would prefer if you don't prefer to be as Mrs., but rather goldfish-enabled star child," and you'd be like,
is that
"Well,
what it is? It's like don't refer to me as like X, Y, and Z. Refer to me as blah 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 blah."
And to which, in those situations, I'm always like, "Well, you know what? I'm just going to call you by your name. How about that?"
That's what I mean. Like, I don't refer to anyone as like he, she, me. Like, when am I ever going to write an email to a work colleague and go like,
"She said this and he said that"?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, hey, Steve, like, I'm gonna, like, Jim said this and Mike said this, and
exactly.
Like, the whole kind of like, I want you to refer to me in this way. Well, once again, I'll refer to you whatever the fuck I want. Like, I'm not trying to. I'm not going to do it in a douchey way. Like, I'm not going to be respectful. But if your name is Jim, I'll call you Jim. If you go he, she, me, she, I'm like, well, can I just call you Jim? Can we cut out the middleman? Like.
And the irony here is, Greeno, if you then insist on referring to the person who has the pronouns strictly by their name, they'll then start accusing you of, like, treating them differently because you're not referring to their pronouns, because you're only talking about, so you'll refer to someone else as they over there, or that guy, or that, those girls, or, those people, and then you turn to, and you, Clarice, you would automatically start having to exclude them from the group conversations. They pick up on shit like that, and it's like, no, that's why you need to use the pronouns. Trust me, Greeno, the future workplace of the world is about to get it's going to become a minefield, isn't it?
Well, I saw the pronouns, and they're very, like, non-specific. Like, not non-specific. I'm like, I'd never refer to anyone in any of these names.
No, but now you're compelled to, though. You must.
No, because instead of saying Jim, like, oh, we'll call him he. I'm like, imagine if I go, hey man, I was speaking to he the other day, and fucking, like, he said this, and I'm like, well, who are you talking about? Well, I can't say who it is because they got the pronouns instead.
Jim in the chat, I think, doesn't believe you when you say I don't call anyone anything but their name. I think he probably thinks you probably call people a whole range of words, Greeno.
No, I definitely do. But what I'm saying is, in a work context, if I go, but let's just say, if we just refer to people by pronouns, then there's no kind of acknowledgement of who anyone is. Because let's say 10 blokes want to be known as he. Then I'm like, I spoke to he the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, which he? Well, he. Well, who is it? Well, he.
Well,
no. Which he?
So,
well, he. And it becomes confusing. So why do we need the pronouns? Can't you just say Jim, Steve, Mike?
Can I ask if we can add our own pronouns now to our email signatures? Can I choose, like, the Iron Fist? Because that would be my pronoun if you had to give me one. Like, it's not going to be he or they or them. I want to be the Iron Fist. I want to be Boogs the Iron Fist at work.
This is a step back in time if we can, quickly. Where back in our younger days,
Yeah.
Greeno used to like come up with stupid things to keep himself entertained because I didn't drink back in the day.
No.
So I was always designated driver.
Driving a lot.
But Greeno would make his own fun things in his head to keep himself entertained at a night out. And one of those things was, well, for a night, I'm going to convince everyone, whoever I meet at a pub or club, my nickname is Piggyback. Just so I can spout off cheesy catchphrases like, because the buck stops here.
Nice, Gary!
Because I keep the change. Because I'm still money. So here's my thought, right?
Yeah.
Maybe my new pronoun might be piggyback.
Piggyback. I like it.
Piggyback. Because I'll go off like a joke I made as like a 19-year-old when I was bored and out with the mates at a pub trying to pick up chicks. Where I'm like, well, this will kind of be funny, and the girls might find it funny. They're like, hey, who's this guy? Well, they call him Piggyback. Why?
Piggyback.
Because I keep the change.
And then, it'd be me sitting on the table behind, because I was like the famous cock blocker of our group. Like, and I wasn't doing it to try and get the girl. I was just trying to ruin your night, just for the amusement of everyone else who wasn't picking up, like, because usually if you were out with the boys, like 5 or 6 boys, you don't all pick up. If there's a group of 5 or 6 of you, one of you might, you know what I mean? Yeah. One guy might, strike up something with a girl, and it was the job of the rest of us to completely ruin that opportunity, and so we can all go home together the way we came in,
Because I was going to ride home.
That's
so
it.
if I went home with a girl, you were like, fuck, man, we had to pay for a cab. Fuck it. I'll ruin Greeno's night.
Exactly. Fantastic. So we all had our own little games going back then.
Nice, Gary!
The piggyback.
Piggyback. Women new pronoun. Piggyback. We've got a world's out. Here we go. Let's wrap up this segment. Well, we've talked about like the media is cooked as well. Like fucking the world overall completely fried. Like turn it off. Yeah. Let's restart it. We'll try again. Yeah. The media in itself, yes. we've established that's done. Like it's no good anymore. But we've reached the point where I saw this article and I'm like, we have officially run out of newsworthy topics.
This is what, like, we've all thought over the last 10 years that we've reached the bottom of the barrel, that we've tapped the bottom of the barrel. But it wasn't until I saw this article that I realized that, like, my fingernails are now getting ripped off in the oak at the bottom of the barrel. That's it. There is tapped
nothing
fucking
left.
Dry, man.
There is too much media. There is too much content, because we've now reached the point where we are providing an oral history of Encino Man. Brendan Fraser's caveman cult classic. We're done. Turn it off. Don't bother turning it on again.
I love the the sub here. In celebration of its 30-year anniversary.
Get out!
Nice, Gary!
Its 30-year anniversary. The principal cast and crew of Encino Man spoke to Inverse about filming the cult classic. There you go, Greta.
So when they say the cast and crew,
was Pauly Shore there or not?
Are these people busy right now? Yeah. Sean Astin, Pauly Shore, and Brendan Fraser.
Yep.
I think they have a lot of spare time on their hands.
What's Sean Astin doing now? What was his
in
last?
The Lord of the Rings movie, wasn't he?
In the what?
He was in Lord of the Rings, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy. I tried.
I watched it with an ex once, and I fell asleep in every movie.
So funny you say that. Myself and the Lady Boogs. Yeah, we tried to watch it together, like I reckon 4 times, and fell asleep every 4 times out of 4. And I was like, that's it. That's enough. We're not bothering this. And then years later, like only maybe 6 months ago, I went back and watched them. And the Hobbit ones were actually much better than the Lord of the Rings ones, I thought.
I think Sean Astin's one of the hobbits.
Ah, I see. Oh, right. Is he the fat little friend? Is he?
Fat little friend, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Well done. Yeah, Jim Edward in the chat, Greeno, pointing out they didn't do this for Biodome. The oral history of Biodome.
That is a fucking tag. Good one, Jim. Well done, sir.
Fantastic. What, is that it? Are we going to the break now?
Yeah, man, that's the end of the segment.
Oh, okay.
Look at the break.
Feels like we only... Yeah, I know, but it feels like we only just got back from a break. Why are our first segments so lopsided?
Well, because we literally spent 30 minutes on the last one. Yeah. That was a long time, literally talking about there's not much content in guns when like they want to be serious.
No.
And then I already told the first ad break story in the first segment. And then the lookalikes was a one-bit joke where we talked about Santa and Shalaro. And then we just had that. Do you want to talk Beck Judd before we go to the break then?
What's Beck doing? Do I care about Beck Judd?
Seeing that late this afternoon. Because Beck Judd, who has had a couple of weeks. Remember the last time she wasn't even in the country? She was complaining about something in the country?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, she was getting articles written about her because she was walking around in fucking LA somewhere wearing a dress. Someone wrote an article about it.
So it's been a couple of weeks since the Beck Judd story. So the papers, they've got an itch like heroin. And I sent you that a little bit this afternoon.
Got it here. Businesswoman Beck Judd.
Yeah, fucking that's a loose term. Like
businesswoman Beck Judd says she.
ABN. Like I can register an ABN and pay nothing. Like it's fine.
I want your tax file number. Businesswoman Beck Judd says she feels, quote, unsafe after a number of crimes in Bayside and has vented her anger at the Andrews government, Greeno. So she's actually, Beck Judd is now taking the approach, like, I'm going to start talking about the election a week after it's happened.
Nice, Gary.
Start talking politics when nobody wants to hear about politics.
Yeah. So she's mooching in on our territory, which kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because fucking Greeno does politics, not Beck Judd.
That's right.
Secondly, she's talking like state politics, not federal. And like, that
doesn't matter. I understand.
We're over dictator, Dan. We did that last year.
I understand the difference, but for 80% of people, it's all the same. The federal, state doesn't matter. Like they're like, oh, Scott Morrison needs to fix the schools, and you could be like, well, he doesn't really have anything to do. And they're like, oh, Scott Morrison didn't do anything for the bushfires, and it's like, well, again, the same. It's kind of like a state thing. They have to do it. It's not really his. He can't just fucking. He doesn't. Scott Morrison doesn't have a fire department at Kirribilli House waiting to go. It doesn't work that way.
He doesn't hold a hose, mate.
He doesn't. I know. I was like, it was the most truthful statement out of the whole election was, I don't hold a hose. Yes, he doesn't. And you wouldn't fucking want him to, because in a cartoon fashion, he'd be flying around in the air, Greeno. You know what I mean?
Like Coyote over there.
Exactly. He wouldn't be able to stay grounded, Greeno. He'd be taking out kids left, right, and centre.
Right, like it was at a ride at Australia's Wonderland. It'd be amazing.
Exactly.
Now, the thing with this, though, is Bayside, I think Beck Judd has taken, she's watched a bit too much Saved by the Bell remake.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
Wake up in the morning and feel I never make it on time.
Time I get my books and I
give myself a look. I'm at the corner just in time to see the bus drive by. It's all right. Because I'm saved by Beck Judd.
Woo!
Oh, this fucking. Are we just running out the clock here tonight, or what are we doing?
No, we are, mate. We're gonna go to an ad, or we're just gonna plug through.
Oh, right. We're doing the ad? Okay.
Nah, fuck the ad. Let's plug through.
No, we'll do an ad.
It's the JJ Stoner Spring Collection, the perfect attire for any and every occasion you can think of this season. Like we were in the mosh pit full of sweat and everyone's slapping, hitting, and pulling on you. This shit won't rip! Lunch at your favorite cafe? Brunch with the girls? These stylish ensembles will give you the confidence you need to look and feel your best. Or if you're getting arrested for possession, it comes with a built-in police stick-proof body armor. Keep swinging, pigs! Call now, and your order will come with a complimentary ounce of that dankest bubblegum slurricane that the South has to offer. Don't forget the wall tapestry! If you need to cover your wall, it works!
Hello, my name is Frozen Asian, and I'd like to tell you about my show, The Sunday Night Shit Show, every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with good conversations and laughing at funny and weird shit we find on the internet, we also have the Hat Cam, where I showcase my myriad of great-looking hats. Here is a testimonial from a great friend of mine who has enjoyed my hats lately.
I hope your next hat is a bullet. Jesus Christ, what are you, fucking Asian Dick Tracy? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to ruin my evening? Like I was just gonna just listen to my buds do their show, and you just gotta do that. You just do the show without the hat.
So you're not enjoying it?
No.
Dude, Asian
come
Dick
on, secretly you enjoy it.
You look
No.
like you're going undercover in Argentina, but it's not working.
I hate you. I hate you.
Oh, come on, you secretly love it.
No, I openly hate it.
And there you have it. So subscribe to the Sunday Night Shit Show at youtube.com/Sunday Night Shit Show. And hope to see you there on Sunday nights. Bye.
Welcome to The Starting Block. Follow on Twitter at The Starting Block. Drop the K at the end. Find the podcast on iTunes or on tavshow.com.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Apologies to our listeners, because this has been a very average show tonight. But that's fine. It's been a big week.
I thought it was okay. I thought we had some
Been
fun
all right.
tonight.
Yeah, had some good moments. I want to give a shout out. Happy birthday to Robbie Thornton, who actually is a legitimate listener of this show.
He is.
One of our 6 listeners and promotes our show nicely. Now, Robbie has started his own podcast in the better part of the last 6 months, and not surprisingly,
It already has more listeners than ours.
not just a little bit, fucking a shit ton. Robbie's been up. So it's Robbie's birthday today. Happy birthday to Robbie.
Happy birthday, mate.
I noticed in my timeline today, Robbie was just retweeting people who wished him a happy birthday. Thousands, mate. Thousands. This is the allure of Robbie, that he brings in the listeners, and it makes me think like we need to start mooching off maybe Robbie's fame, similar to what
The
we
league
did.
freak and the Virgo and the freak.
The league freak with we're a shitty little show when you start mooching
Man,
off
we've
Robbie's
sucked
fame.
so much blood out of people over the years. I feel like there's nothing left. I feel like my fangs are worn down to a nub, Greeno.
We're a little bit, yeah. We've got a little bit of the Buffy syndrome, unfortunately. Where
I'm just so sick of leeching. Like, all this blood tastes the same, these days.
it is. With that said, happy birthday to Robbie. Happy good birthday, mate. NBA Statman, sir. Have we got up on the Statman? So, for some reason, I can't get into the Twitter feed. This show's been a fucking shithole today.
It's all your fault, too. Your shitty preparation while you're on your lunch break.
No, I had 6 minutes left on my lunch break. Seriously, dude. I got a sick kid. Man. I was busy.
You're not busy 24 hours a day, though.
Well, enough that it interrupted my prepreparation. Can you read out the stat man?
How long is the preparation? You said it took 6 minutes to put the show together. So now how long? I'm going to give you half of that time for preparation, Green. I think that's reasonable.
Nice,
So 3 minutes prep for 6 minutes work. Okay.
Yeah, hang on, what do we got here? What's the stat man?
Yeah.
I need
Points
you to read
scored
it.
in
I
a
legitimately can't
okay.
read it.
Points
I'm gonna
scored.
sign into
Well,
something on
now
air.
I'm reading the stuff
me.
you sent through. You're doing even less around here. Points scored in Game 4. All Heat starters 18. Victor Oladipo,
yeah.
Oladipo 23. This is the very first playoff game that an entire starting lineup was outscored by a player from its bench. What the fuck?
Fucking knows, yeah. It's Miami Heat, Game 4, I believe it was. Yeah, the entire starters scored less than one bench player. Obviously, they lost that game. But, yeah,
So
never happened
that
before
was
in
the
history.
Celtics' defense, though, obviously, wasn't it? Like, just wouldn't let them fucking move.
Here's the thing with the Celtics this year, man. Like, their attack is fine. Like, they're just
the
a
middle of the
serviceable
pack.
attack.
Yeah.
But basically, what the new coach has brought in, he's like, we are going to play because the new NBA is fucking horrible to watch, right?
Yeah.
Because all they do is throw up 3-pointers.
Yeah.
What the Celtics are doing, like, we're going to play hard press defense.
They took
Like,
all that
someone's-
physicality out of the game. Like, you like the explosive players, like exploding into the key and shit, Greeno, like attacking the hoop. They've taken a lot of that stuff out of it now. It's quite. you're right. Because like I haven't watched a game in a while, and every now and then I'll flick it on and just watch the highlights or something. I'm like, man, this is just like it's worlds apart. Yeah. It looks more like NBL, because NBL we used to laugh at when we were kids because it was just a three fest. Whoever could hit the most threes would win. You know, the way they played. It was just a lot of jump shots, you know. Like,
yeah, it looks like how we used to play NBA Live.
Yeah,
we'll shoot a three from 30 out. Like, it's fine. Like, if it goes in, it goes in. Excellent. No biggie. Yeah. We'll just pick Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullen, and we'll just fucking shoot threes all day. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's what the modern day NBA is. But the Boston Celtics have really focused. Whereas, like the Golden State Warriors, congratulations, Golden State Warriors. Fucking
just
tip of the hat.
More. Yeah.
Well, not just that. Like, they've made 6 finals in the last 8 years. The last team to do that was the Chicago Bulls dynasty.
Nice,
how many have the Warriors won, though? 2, 3?
They won 3, I think.
3? I'm going to say 2.
Out of that 6.
2, because I think they lost one like dramatically, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they lost the one where they lost to the Cavs, where they went down. They were up 3-1. They lost. Yeah, but then they won the one after, and then they won with... Oh, no, sorry, they won the one after with Durant, and they won the one after that, I think. They lost to the Raptors. And then maybe they won 3. So, look, they're not – no one's fucking the Chicago Bulls of that era because they won 6.
Yeah.
They won 6 in 8 years, and the only reason they didn't win the other 2 years is because Jordan wouldn't play baseball.
Yeah, and also Houston was a pretty good team in those 2 years as well.
The Chicago Bulls still made the finals, just missed out on playing. Jordan's there and he's peak. Hakeem,
he wasn't there though.
Titleist.
He wasn't there though.
I know.
And Jordan said too, like those were the 2 best years that Houston had though. Like that's when that
they did. Oh, they were a good team. They were 100% a good team.
And they were a good team for the other years of the Chicago Bulls as well. It's just like they were a top 4 team where Chicago was the top 1 team. You know what I mean?
And look, even with MJ, like that Magic side, that first year, even though they lost the finals, that was a pretty fucking damn good side.
Didn't MJ say that Hakeem was the best player he's seen?
Maybe.
I know Shaq said that Hakeem was the best he's ever played against. But I think Jordan also said Hakeem was like the most skilled player that he's seen because he was a center who played like a point guard, you know, like
pretty much.
And shit.
He was, but outside of his generation, like he had the silky smooth skills as a center.
That's
where
right.
Shaq had that physical dominance that no other center had at that point. Good era. But
even though Hakeem was like fucking skinny as a rake, Shaq was huge. Hakeem still dominated him in that series against the Magic, you know.
He knew he was
outsmarted him. Yeah.
Outsmarted him, psychological game, and also like, even though Hakeem may have weighed maybe fucking 100 pounds less than Shaq, probably not, but
he threw elbows though. Yeah.
Definitely a weight advantage. Hakeem knew where to position himself and like get an offensive foul. Offensive foul called against him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a master. One of the all-time greats. But so congratulations to Golden State who made the finals today.
Jim reckons that the Celtics and the Heat are playing for the right to lose against the Warriors. Is that the way you see it?
Oh, mate, I don't know. Well, I'm a Celtics fan.
Put a little bit of cash on the Celts, do you reckon?
Well, you know my theory, mate. I bet against the team I want to win.
I like the Celtics. I like Celtics in this though.
I do too, because I think the way they play defense and there are more like they spread the ball really well. Like even though Jason Tatum's the star. He's dealing with a burner at the moment, but at the same time, like they don't have to rely on him. They find a way to have other match winners, whether it be Marcus Smart, whether it be Jaylen Brown, whether it be Al Horford, other guys off the bench. Everyone contributes with the scoring. So, and they play so like I will always bet on the team. If it wasn't my own team, I'd always bet on the team that plays the best defense.
Yeah,
that's just kind of my theory. Yeah. No matter what sport it is, I'm like, I know this other team's attack might be good, but I always bet on defense when it comes to finals because I feel like there's heightened pressure.
Well, they say attack wins games and finals wins championship. Attack wins games and defense wins championships.
100%. So
I'd be interested to see because, Golden State they want a fast game, they want it open and fast. So and the Celtics, I just wonder if they'd be able to I wonder how Golden State will play with a team that's just 100% focused on shutting them down. They're not even necessarily so concerned with their own scoring, but they're just putting all their energy into preventing you.
100%.
And will it frustrate them? Then do they start making mistakes? Because I imagine a team like that will try harder like to get around the defense. And when you try too hard, when you try too hard in a game, you overthink things and you overdo everything, and then mistakes kind of fall like dominoes into the next one, because you're trying to make up for the last mistake, so you try even harder, and then it kind of spirals. So I just wonder if, like, when they come up, I like the Celtics in it. I wonder, what are the odds on it? Do you know?
The Celtics haven't even won.
I know, but let's say they get through. They'd already
haven't beaten Miami yet.
No, but there'd already be odds out though, like for Celtics to win, because we're talking about them winning the whole thing. They're winning the finals, so there would already be odds on that. Because obviously, if you think they can beat Golden State, then they have to beat the Heat. So I wonder what they're paying now. That's got to be like sort of what, in the $7 area?
Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking $6-7 would probably.
Gee, it's tempting.
They're up 3-2 against the Heat. They're playing at home. Tomorrow's game's gonna be a fucking crack. I might actually watch that.
Yeah.
Like with basketball, here's the thing: basketball now is so boring for the first half because nothing happens, and then the final quarter is also a bit of a bludger because there's all the fouls. It takes forever. But you only really need to watch the final quarter of basketball. Like you can avoid the entire first 3 quarters. You watch the final quarter, you kind of get the gist of it.
Jim in the chat saying, Golden State's a machine. Steph Curry is in his element. Those are more reasons for me to bet against them. When you're like, oh no, it's such a lock, man. It's certain. I'm like, but I love that talk because the odds go out then for the Celtics. I'm like, oh yeah.
I think Golden State's going to win. They've just got that championship pedigree. Yeah. Like it's kind of like when you played those Bulls in the 90s, where you're like, these guys, they're back. They're still dominant. Like they may not be at their peak that they were, but it's like the 98 Bulls. You know what I mean? Like
they're favorites for a reason. Don't get me wrong, but if the odds are like 6-7, then I'm interested.
100%. If we're doing a comparison, right? You got Draymond Green is Dennis Rodman. He plays gritty. He plays hard. He's always there in the defense. Then you've got Steph Curry, who's the Jordan like. He's not Jordan. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is he's the star of that team, and like the game relies on him. But if fucking Steph goes off like Jordan, the team wins. You've got Scottie Pippen, who's Klay Thompson, who, doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Fucking Klay Thompson is fucking amazing player. And if it wasn't for Steph Curry, he'd be known as an absolute superstar. If not for that, I think he scored 28 today, 10 rebounds.
But he's like the perfect role player. He's the perfect, and every team needs one guy who's like you. Every dictator has a fucking general. Every CEO has a right-hand man, and you need one in your team who's going to work the agenda of the fucking star player. He needs to be your right-hand man, your go-to guy, because he's going to be getting double-teamed and stuff. So if your number 2 is just as good as your number 1, then of course, you're going to be favorites. But yeah, like I said, but if the Celtics get through to the finals, the odds will be huge against them. And, obviously Golden State are the favorites, and I think that they would win too. But then if the odds are starting to get juicy enough, I'm like, oh, there might be something in that. It does have a sniff about it. Like, remember when, I forget which year it was, but like the Lakers were the fucking sure thing with LeBron, remember? And then for whatever reason, it was just like was it the Lakers where it was calamitous and they got clean swept one year?
Well, they've only won one championship with LeBron there, the Lakers, and every other year it's kind of been a shambles. So.
Right, yeah. I think it was one of those, but it was like all the talk leading in. I can't even remember who won it that year, but all the talk was leading in was like, there's no chance the Lakers have got this, because they were the best team all year. They smashed it all year, and it's just like, sometimes, history repeats a little bit, Greeno. So I'd be tempted to throw a little something on Boston, honestly, if they got through. I'd be thinking about it. $7, $6.50. I'll take.
If they're $7, it's worth a few bucks. Like the thing is, they got a few injury concerns. Marcus Smart is playing only every second game. Robert Williams, their centers, only playing every second game. They're both under injury. Jason Tatum, their star player, is dealing with a nerve impingement in his neck. He's played every game, but he's not at 100%. Whereas the Warriors, they're missing GP2. And aside from that, they're pretty healthy. Iguodala should come back for the finals, I think.
It does come down to fitness at the end of the season, doesn't it? Especially in basketball, because you play so many games. There's so much traveling in between, and it's just
the thing as well. The Celtics they played a 7-game series. Like the the Warriors have had a pretty smooth run through. They played 4 or 5 games each series, whereas the Celtics, they went 7 against.
It adds up, doesn't it? It adds up.
And then they're going to go at least 6 against the Heat, and those extra games. It's not like baseball where you're like, oh, we're fresh, we're warm, we're in our regular rotation. These guys have had 4 days off; they're a little bit rusty. Basketball's different. You need those couple of days off to rest your legs and whatnot. Yep. The Celtics are going to have that, especially with their injuries. So
yeah. And I'd love to see the stats. I'm sure someone's done it somewhere, but I'd love to see the stats of like the least. How many times has the team who's played the least amount of games in the final series, which would infer that they've won quickly, 3-0, 4-1, whatever. So how many teams have won the championship when they've played like the least amount of games? Like there might be a sweetheart number where anything, if they play this amount of games or less, they win the championship 100% of the time. You know what I mean? There's probably, or like 80 or 90%, because it's like in other sports, like say football, for example, right? If you have, you can rate a team's chances historically in final series, and you can map it statistically, the amount of rotations that they do in a squad throughout the year. So the teams who have the highest amount of squad rotation are the least likely to win the championship. Well, pretty much whatever sport they're doing, and the team that are the fittest are the ones most likely to win the championship at the end. And again, it doesn't really matter. Every now and then a team pops up. I remember Hawthorn in the AFL when they won their second one, Greeno, so in like 2013. That was the year where Alistair Clarkson, the coach, was like out of the team and sick for 6 weeks. They had, they were bringing up reserve players that nobody heard of because everybody was injured, and they still went on to win the championship. It still happens, but it's so fucking rare. Usually it's the fittest team who wins. Yeah, so you could be onto something there. Like if Golden State are really fit, they've played a lot. I mean, you can't compare it. If you've played like 5 or 6 less games when you get to the championship, of course you're going to be fucking favorites, shouldn't you? You should be. And how everyone says like the break.
High intensity defense as well. That involves energy. You know what I mean? Like if their game is up tempo and we need to press like every man, no matter what, really put pressure on the defense. That's something that you want fresh legs. That game is going to work better if you're the one that's played less games in the lead up to the finals. So
and one more thing on this, and it's like, in football here, Greeno, they'll talk about, the team who has the week off. You know how some people say, you're better off playing every week instead of having the week off. But you hear commentators say that shit all the time. But if you actually look at the stats, it's like, no. It's overwhelmingly better to take the week off. Like the team who takes the week off wins like a majority of the time. But we just have it in our heads like, oh, no, it's momentum. It's better. But no, it's not true. If you're more fatigued by the time you get to the championship game, you're less likely to win it. That's like
100%. The only game I've seen the opposite is literally baseball, because it's about repetition and whatnot. Yeah. You want your warm, you want your pitchers to be on their same cycle.
I can see that.
If you play 6 or 7 games, you're like, at least the pitchers are still pitching the same amount. Yeah. For the most part. Then you get people that overuse. But
baseball's, but see, the difference is baseball's not an impact injury in the same way like, say, football is. Yeah.
Your bodies need to recover as much. And
even basketball's a higher impact injury, but it's higher impact, obviously. It's like shockwaves going through your legs.
It's high cardio, you know what I mean? Like if you got someone who runs like half a marathon, another one who runs a full marathon, I'd rather like the guy who doesn't run the full marathon in the later series, you know what I mean? Because I feel the legs are going to be a bit fresher. So
that's it.
We'll wait and see. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Cricket Statman, sir.
Cricket
this is something
Statman.
Never happened before. So Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka.
Yep.
There was 6 ducks and 200s in a scorecard, which has never happened in the history of cricket.
In 150 years, cricket has been going for. It's never happened, this particular score.
You sent a message in the chat with the boys yesterday. You're like, how good would Sri Lanka have felt when they're like, 5 down?
5 for 28. Yeah. 5 for 28 they had them, and they ended up scoring, what was it, 370 something?
Yeah. basically two guys who scored 150 odd each. So
Fucking
nice little
nuts.
that, man. Well done. I like seeing Bangladesh as a competitive
Me
test
too.
nation.
Fucking nice.
It's nice to have like the more
We've
the
been
more
watching them for
competitive
20
test nations out
years.
there, the
We've been
better.
We've been watching them for 20 years. We've been waiting for them to start getting really competitive. And there were a couple of good players in that last 20 years. Don't get me wrong. But they will, they'd have one decent kind of number 4 batsman who would average like 38 in Test cricket or something, and everyone else was rubbish. Or they'd have like one decent spinner who would trouble people on subcontinent wickets, or one half decent kind of medium fast paceman. But now after like this time, they are actually, they beat fucking New Zealand when New Zealand was number 1 in the world in New Zealand. They've got they got fight in them, and I love watching them play too. I love it. It's good stuff. Fucking another fucking country playing cricket. I'm obviously going to be in favour of it.
100%. Like
we need someone to fill in for Zimbabwe, Greeno, because they've been rubbish for a long time.
Terrible. Yeah.
Nice, Gary.
There's a guy I used to work with when I first started working full time. So we're going back 15, 16 years ago now. And he was a Bangladeshi dude. And he was like, we talk a little bit about cricket. And that was around the time where Bangladesh was doing like 1 days against Australia.
Yeah.
And we watched the game on a Friday. And we go to the pub, we watch the game. And he'd be like, oh, go Bangladesh. And they just get pumped. And I'm like, mate, like this team.
You don't even want to watch it when it's that bad.
This team is so far away. Like, it's fine. It's, we love our cricket over there. And he really, like, it was generally like, he's like, we really love cricket. Hopefully we improve. And so I was so satisfied. I was thinking about that dude during the week when I saw this. And I'm like, and when they beat New Zealand, I'm like, oh, man, finally, Bangladesh, like, they're not going to be a powerhouse, but at least they're competitive. Like they took it to New Zealand, the world number 1 team. They've shown some fight. Like most of these teams, like you get a team 5 down for 29. England's capitulating. Right?
Oh yeah, we're capitulating.
Like it's like, oh, this is fucking done. Let's worry about the next test. Bangladesh, they had 2 guys who were like, we'll sit here and fight. We'll keep batting. Yeah. Amazing effort. I'm so happy to see. And like I said, Zimbabwe not really past. I'd like to see West Indies do it again. The more strong cricketing nations, the better. Like
the better the cricket is.
Yeah, 100%. Like I want to see tours to Bangladesh. I want to see tours to Sri Lanka. I want to see tours to West Indies. I'd love
to see West Indies come out here with another team of like fucking 4 6'8" fucking savages just fucking bowling 160 Ks. Yeah, I'd love to see it, man. I'd love it.
It'd be so good. But nice to see him in the fight there. So well done to Sri Lanka. Even though they created a very weird stat, man. BBC Nice Gary before we go, sir.
BBC Nice Gary.
Now, this was passed off as a mistake by a trainee.
Oh, shit.
So they obviously put a trainee in front of the ticker at BBC News, and they've like, hey, mate, just type whatever you want. Go nuts. It's not going out, but they failed to distinguish the difference between the real ticker and the fake ticker they were trying to train the dude with. Now, this is bullshit because someone's taking the piss here. There's no doubt. No one is putting a trainee in front of a live ticker. Surely.
I bet this was like a late night kind of thing that was going on there, and maybe there was like a dare or something, and who knows, Greeno. But there's the trainees that you're right. In a newsroom media scenario, Greeno, you did a little fucking work experience back in the day in some media operations. Did they ever let you anywhere near any of the direct to on-air equipment, Greeno, while you were there?
Shown to the back corner and say, "Go read these scripts for 4 hours.
Get this kid a magazine, stat."
We'll call you when we've got some busy work.
That's it. If you're there, if you're an underling in like a legitimate kind of media operation, you will be shafted to the fucking corner. Nobody cares who you are. They don't care about your ideas.
You just there to tick off the hours. Exactly. They say, yeah, we're going to train you there. And I get to tick off the box that said I did work experience at this fucking TV venue.
That's right. You shut your mouth, we'll shut our mouth, and everyone gets out of this a winner. So I would wager that this is some kind of I reckon, this, what it smacks of, Greeno? Someone quitting the next day or something, you know what I mean? Or someone on their way out. Manchester United are rubbish. And they shouldn't be disciplined for that because I genuinely agree. Manchester United are rubbish. They have been rubbish for like 10 years.
Nothing in factual. It's nice to see some factual content on the news.
Exactly. That's real news right there.
Yeah, 100%. No fake news there.
In a great kind of micro commentary of modern society, Greeno, even though they told the truth, they say, and I quote, "We apologise for any offence caused on air."
Apologise for the truth.
Apologising for telling the truth. Well done, everyone.
Yeah.
Good job. Can we quickly do this one before we go? Because Jim Edward sent this through. Let's have a look at this.
Oh, mate, how did I forget this one? My apologies. Wasn't in the rundown.
All right. Little local Australian news for you. What's going on?
The man accused of bashing a football fan with a didgeridoo after Dreamtime at the G was hired to perform in the pre-match ceremony.
So, for our American listeners,
yeah, we have to translate this.
We don't have gun violence here in Australia.
We got didgeridoo violence.
We've got jumping castles. There's a small issue, and we've got didgeridoo violence.
Didgeridoos.
But thankfully, our constitution says everyone has the right to bear a didgeridoo, so we're okay.
Hey, look, if you take my didgeridoo over my dead fucking body, narc. Didgeridoo, it's the weapon of choice for the freedom fighter, Greeno.
The man accused of bashing a football fan with a didgeridoo after Dreamtime at the G was hired to perform in the pre-match ceremony.
Now, what you have to understand is Dreamtime at the G is a football match in the Australian Football League, Greeno. It's like they do Indigenous round and they have Dreamtime at the G, and it's Richmond versus Essendon. Now, this guy was hired to play the didgeridoo before the game, okay? At the start.
Entertainment.
And it's a big they're not going to show it on here because it's on Channel 9, and of course the AFL is on Channel 7, so they're not going to show any of the highlights of the game or anything, right?
Well, they'll shitpost about how
terrible the AFL is. That's right, because that's the other kind of hidden narrative here. Channel 9 is invested heavily in the NRL, which is the rival kind of football league here in Australia to the AFL. I don't really do Code Wars. I think they're gay and stupid.
No, it's fucking stupid. Just enjoy the game, for Christ's sake.
Just watch whatever you want to watch, man. I don't care which. I don't want the whole world to play one sport. That would be awful, don't you think? Like, that'd get boring very quickly if we all had to watch one thing. So, fuck that. So anyway, there's this Code Wars stuff going on. But anyway, this guy was hired before he was hired to perform before this huge game with like 80,000 people at it. And then I guess during the course of the game, he's remained at the ground. Now, Greeno, you and I, we've played a few gigs in our time. What was our general behavior after we finished our set? Like, once our set was done, did we tend to stick around for the next kind of 4 or 5 hours generally? Or were we like, all right, let's pack the shit up and get the hell out of here? I know we did a couple of times, but more.
Well, it depends on where the gig was. So when we play like church festivals and like band comp nights, we pissed off pretty quickly. When our gigs were at pubs and clubs, we fucking did not leave till our rider was done. Yeah, Kelsbar.
And Newtown gigs as well.
Newtown gigs, city gigs. Those ones we stuck around. So it was very, very predominant on whether we could sit around and drink or whether there was kind of like this weird awkwardness of like, oh, I guess we'll just kind of stick around there.
You're right. I don't really remember those ones because those are the ones where I remember like waking up on a lounge the next day at like 11 a.m. and having to call the Lady Boogs to come and collect me and then asking people, hey, where's my amp? Have you seen my amp? And did someone pick up my guitar from the place? I don't know.
It was normally in the back of my car. We were okay.
That's right. Greeno's got it. It's sweet. That's good. All right, let's go drinking. Let's hit the bags. So this guy, I reckon I'm going to wager that the guy who was playing the didgeridoo beforehand, if he was arrested for attacking someone with that same not even someone, Greta, a football fan. So did the football fan mouth off, which is very common at a football game, you know, fans mouth off at each other and tell them to go fuck themselves and stuff. It happens a lot here. Did he mouth off at this guy? Now, was this guy, you know, enjoying the festivities of the night, Greeno? If you're part of like the pre-match celebration, do you reckon they're hitting you up in the corporate boxes with champagne and, you know, maybe a stubby here and there?
If you're pre-match, like your job is done before like opening whistle.
That's right.
So like that's
plenty of time to hit the cans, you reckon?
Correct. So you've got like, well, I got the didgeridoo around, and fucking, well, I'm gonna get them the sauce, and you got the whole 80 to go, or 90 in case of the AFL. Like, mate, seriously, he's pretty smashed by the time he gets full time, partying with the boys. It's free sauce, definitely, because he's in corporate box. Part of the pretty much entertainment, and you're like, why don't I want to get this again? There's not many didgeridoo gigs I'm fucking getting. I better take advantage of this.
Jim in the chat, you can't get more of an Australian story than this. Like
Jesse Gardner has been freed.
Oh yeah, he's come through
In the pre-match ceremony,
Let's see
Jesse
how this
Gardner
develops.
has been freed on bail following his arrest this morning. Crime reporter Lana Murphy was there.
Woken by detectives on his Dandenong doorstep, this alleged thug was too scared to show his face.
Alleged thug, Greeno. They're going in hard on this guy. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Alleged thug.
Just alleged. Well, he's not convicted yet, so he's just alleged.
Are you embarrassed?
Are you?
Are you embarrassed?
All right.
You
know what?
Gary, that dude. Fucking oath.
I'm starting to come around on the didgeridoo man.
I'm on the didgeridoo dude.
I'm on his side.
This is Johnny Depp, fucking Amber Heard.
This is
here.
Johnny Depp.
This guy's
Johnny
the Australian
Depp
Johnny
vibes.
Depp.
Look, she tried to shit in my didgeridoo one night and I didn't appreciate it.
Why were you there on Saturday night?
Suddenly speechless, Jesse Gardner was taken into
Well,
custody.
hang on, he just fucking said something.
He just told you to go fuck off, basically.
Go fuck off, mate. Like, he's not speechless. He just spoke, for Christ's sake.
Then charged over this horrific assault.
Oh, they're going to show this. This is better than showing the game. Let's have a look here.
Yeah,
at the
fucking
assault.
right. We need to slow mo.
Oh, okay.
Well, this guy's in a bit of trouble here.
Okay, because he kind of like, and it looks like he's kind of chasing this dude. The
He's
thing that's
chasing
going
after him. This is never a good sign.
Nah.
You can't claim self-defense when the dude's jumping
right.
over a fence and you're hitting with a didgeridoo.
Yeah. I mean, like, he hits him when the guy's kind of straddling the fence trying to get away. So it's probably not going to work out for him. Okay, and now he reaches over and you can see it. Oh, straight in the face. Drops him, Greeno. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Good connection there on the didgeridoo. Right out of the fat side or the bat there, Greeno.
We do need to get a CTE check on this dude just to be safe. 10 minutes in the bin. We'll let you know if he's passed his assessment.
Police say the 26-year-old used his didgeridoo to bash a Tigers fan as he walked home from the MC.
Bash. Like,
It's strike. It's a strike. Yeah.
There's a difference between, like, once again, where
bashing is repeated strikes, in my opinion.
Strikes, if he jumps over the fence and starts fucking bludgeoning that dude, he's bashed that guy. That one strike, it was kind of at a distance. Did he fucking hit him? Definitely, 100%. Based on this footage,
he didn't bash him.
But the bashing is a different story. Bashing involves frequent blows and continual chasing. If you chase after the dude again and keeps beating him, different story.
Right.
But it doesn't look good for this bloke.
So this bitch is being incredibly disingenuous then, because she's like, first of all, she's saying, oh, well, he's got nothing to say when he just said something to you. And then she's like, well, he didn't bash. Obviously, we're taking the side of the didgeridoo guy.
And what if this dude, like, let's just say, for argument's sake, this is the Amber Heard Johnny Depp defense. What happened if the bloke that jumped over the fence had shat in that dude's didgeridoo? Is that justification for
hitting him with the
strike?
didgeridoo? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just trying to give him his shit back, officer.
He's shit in my didgeridoo, so I whacked him once. That's fucking even, right?
That's right. Yep. I was just trying to shake the shit out of the didgeridoo and give it back to him.
And I thought the best way to do it is to whack it against something like his skull.
Like his face.
There's a young man in hospital with a fractured skull. What do you have to say to him?
I mean, it would fucking hurt to get smashed in the face with a didgeridoo.
That shit's fucking solid.
Yeah.
The father of two wasn't there as a spectator. He was a musician hired to perform, failing to show up.
I mean, I've told a lot of jokes about drummers and guitarists and bass players. I've yet to hear a didgeridoo player joke, though, that I can use in this context, unfortunately. It looks like we are going to see a bit of this
welcome to
here.
country on the ground. He took part in this ceremony outside the gates.
Wait, outside?
Wait,
hang on.
So they showed a big overhead. They got the camera out, like it's got above head.
They're making us think he's center stage there, Greeno, with the MCG.
Old mate was in the car park. Like,
in the car park, burning leaves.
I've let off some bangers in the car park in my day. Doesn't mean I was part of the pre-match entertainment.
Look at there is a difference in vibe here in atmosphere. Okay, now number 1 and number 2.
Number 2. I think what they're trying to do is distance the AFL and their official contract with. I reckon this dude was probably inside, and part of the festivities. But they're like, if we say he was outside in the car park,
also outside.
He wasn't employed by the AFL,
No.
so we don't have any negative connotations with the AFL.
After the game, police allege he dealt this blow. One of up to 8 men and women who surrounded 25-year-old Daniel, breaking his nose and skull.
Okay, now what did Daniel do? What did Daniel do?
8? How many did they say? 8 people?
8 people surrounded him.
After the game, police allege he
piss
dealt
off those 8
this
people?
blow. One of up to 8 men and women who surrounded 25-year-old Daniel.
Okay, 8 men and women surrounded him. Thoughts?
I've been bashed before. Normally, it's 3 fobs that did it, not 8.
8. Well, men and women too, they said.
It was only men that bashed me. But at the same time, look, it seems like there might have been some provocation, perhaps, to lead to that. But then they also might just be shit cunts. Who knows?
They might be. It is after a football game, and it's people have been boozing up all night.
Really?
No, because the attack happened after the game.
After the game, that's right.
Breaking his nose and skull.
It hurt to see what Daniel went through, especially to actually see him jumping over the fence to try and remove himself away from it, and then he's been attacked from behind.
I'd like the police to take him along and front Daniel face to face and say, this is what you've done to this young man that went to the MCG on Saturday.
Well. Let's get the 8 attackers in front of the victim. That'll work out very well.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'd like to get the police in front. I'm like, don't we usually try to separate the victim and the perpetrator?
Victim and the attacker. I don't know. It was 8-1. I don't know. How about we get him to rock up at the hospital, for Christ's sake? We cut in the middleman. They can bash him again.
This is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy who gives his grandson like a carton of cigarettes if he catches him smoking one. It's like, look, you got bashed by a didgeridoo at the football. I'm gonna bash you with a didgeridoo until you don't feel the pain anymore.
They know to support this cause.
After allegedly running from the scene with 4 men bleeding on the ground, Jesse Gard.
So how many people did he fucking hit, Greeno? So there were 4 men bleeding on the ground, or did he notice how they didn't say he hit all 4 of them? I reckon there was a brawl.
There could have been a brawl, and that was none of that was in the footage.
No, that's right. But we only saw, they gave us like 4 seconds worth to look at.
Well, they did say men and women. So when bleeding on the ground, maybe 3 of the women were menstruating. Who knows, man? Like, we haven't gone into the specifics. All we're talking about is the overall cause of the bleeding.
End of segment. End of show.
I've ruined it.
All right. Plugs.
Taking it too far. And now I'm taking it too far.
Yep.
Plugs.
No. Anyway, let's get out of here. Fuck it. Follow Greeno. You know where to follow him. Follow me. I'll do a show tomorrow. So
no one follows me.
No one cares about any of this stuff. So
realistically, no one's listening. It's fine.
No one's listening. Nobody cares. Jim's listening. He's the only one. You better go to bed, Jim. It's fucking late, man.
Well, early for Jim, isn't it? Isn't it Jim in Canada?
Yeah, he's in Canada, but he's on the other side. He's on the western side of Canada. So it's like what?
I thought it was like 3 a.m.
5:20 or something over there now, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
What's the time, Jim? Let us know.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm out of here. I'll be back later. Follow our friends. You know what to do. Till next time. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down